I get the feeling that it tends to privilege the colonial bridge, what I call the colonial bridge, which means that texts that deal with this colonial bridge are more likely to be studied by post-colonial critics. You might trash the bridge, or you might celebrate it, you might be ambivalent about it, but you cannot ignore it, which works in the field of literatures like Indian literatures in English, because anyone writing in English has to crack across that bridge to some extent, though not to the same extent. But that also explains why various other language literatures get ignored by post-colonialists. So that's one of the aspects. The other aspect, which I won't go into too much, is, and this is not pertinent with India, but in Europe, very often when I look at, this is something that has developed in the last 10 years, when I look at courses of post-colonial literature, I find writers who have basically been brought up and who have sometimes even been born in Britain or USA and so on and so forth. Many of them are great writers, but I find it problematic that they're not being studied as British writers or American writers. They're being studied as post-colonial writers, which means that in some ways the kind of attention that Commonwealth literature actually focused on writers who were from elsewhere has disappeared. Now post-colonialism basically blurs all of us together because we seem to have similarly strange non-European names.